I'm curious what you were thinking of when you said we wouldn't even be alive if it weren't for inventors. Give me an example of what you're talking about there.
You know who Edward Jenner is?
Yes, vaccine.
Edward Jenner made the first vaccine for smallpox. 400 million people died of smallpox in the last century. That's more people than I think we have in this country, maybe. Like, it's a lot of people died of one disease, regardless of what, I know people are wound up about vaccines these days, but at least in the case of smallpox, this is like one of the reasons you and I exist. Like, we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for that type of, and that's like a really interesting invention story where he figured out that these milkmaids who were milking cows contracted cowpox, which is not as life-threatening, not really as big of a deal disease, but then they never got smallpox.
Yeah.
And it's like this incredible insight, this amazing discovery. And like that guy figured out, I could go test that, and he did. And he figured out that we could now save people from dying of smallpox.
Two quick historical notes. That's, of course, where we get the name vaccine from cows, vaca.
Right.
But also, it turns out Edward Jenner was about the 8th person to invent the vaccine for that.
That's right.
Yeah.
In a way, right. So there's also this lore that we have, I would say, that, inventors aren't actually that important. It was inevitable. Somebody was going to figure it out. But there are lots of these cases where somebody didn't figure it out, or the person who figured it out didn't get the word out. I mean, this happened like with scurvy even. You had all these people trying to cross oceans dying. You just load up a ship full of people expecting half of them to die of scurvy. And some of them might make it to the other side before we figured out all they need is oranges.
Yeah.
And like, that was figured out and then like shelved for, I forgot, 75 years or something. But I think it is a way of diminishing the value of an inventor or an invention by saying, well, he just was able to do that because of the, people who came before them and standing on the shoulders of giants. And there's certainly a truth to that. Of course, we all start with what we learned from our predecessors, but it still takes a creative mind to do something the first time.